We came up here yesterday. We didn't make it very far up because at some point I realized my bracelet was not on my wrist anymore. And so while there was still light, I wanted to go back down and see if I could find it. So I was like looking all over the ground and stuff, hoping to see it. And I was just telling Bobby as we were looking that I felt like I didn't know that I had much reason to continue wearing it for the significance it has to me. And as I was literally saying that, like getting sentences out of my mouth to that effect, I saw it wrapped around a sign. A sign.
Oh.
I'll hold them.
Okay. Hold on.
Oh, jeez.
Hold them all, Tanner.
Really turn this into a team effort. I know.
That's what it should be. 2 acts in one video on 2 different days, months apart. Today is April 19th, 2021. Tomorrow is the 2-year anniversary of this series. Alright. I'm gonna start the DLC now. Remind, slideshow. Okay. This one.
That one, yes.
Yeah, okay. I'm so excited.
There we go. This is new.
A little charm in the hopes that we'll never be apart again. Oh, yeah. Oh, Kyrie got an Instagram.
Yeah. I don't think she has one in the base game. Actually, she hasn't put anything.
May your heart be your guiding key.
It cuts off before he finishes that.
Before he finishes key.
Dashes away a letter, then orders a white goat to search for it. What could his intentions possibly be?
Great! A riddle. Just what I need.
There are many possibilities. Perhaps he forgot where it's hidden. Or he's playing a prank. Or the letter has truly gone missing. I can think of several reasons offhand. Guessing is simply useless.
Well, then just follow your orders. Plain and simple.
Yes, that's what I've always done. I follow the orders from above, without question. However, I sometimes can't help but read into my opponent's strategy.
Too long on the job?
If the contents of the box are so unknown, why is it of such critical importance to the organization? Furthermore, was it Xehanort or Xemnas who gave the order?
Well, it's tricky.
All Xehanort cares about is the clash between the 7 lights and 13 darknesses. It's unlikely he would hold such an interest in this mysterious box. Which means the order was issued by Xemnas, or the one who informed me of my task, you.
As if. It must have been Xemnas.
My inquiries suggested otherwise.
Oh man, you asked him.
What are your intentions?
Look, I don't know what's inside the box, but it's been protected by Keyblade wielders since way back when. Aren't you curious? I heard it contains information that's vital to all Keyblade wielders. Secrets.
And where did you hear this?
I don't remember. I keep my eyes and ears wide open, but I've traveled so many different places. It's hard to keep everything straight, you know?
If this box is truly as important as you say, why now? I believe you discovered that others also seek it, and you need to find it before anyone else does. In order to keep your connection to the box a secret from those around you. Zigbar, who are you really? No matter. It doesn't make a difference to me. It's all the same. I'm content to feign ignorance.
The question is, who are you, Luxord?
There's a lot of cutscene in the beginning.
It's finally over.
It's a shame we don't get to see the stuff of Xehanort calling Kingdom Hearts with the improved sky.
We'll find Kairi. Let's head back to Master Yen
I
Sid.
wouldn't,
We can figure it out.
I wouldn't say anything just yet.
Okay.
No. I know what to do.
They made sure that we can see all their graphical updates, okay?
Yes.
My whole journey began the day I lost her. And every time I find her, she slips away
Yeah,
again.
the CG cutscenes
I thought we'd
do
finally be
look better
together,
when compared like side
but
to
she's
side.
out
Like
there,
like the faces and stuff.
alone. Not for one more second.
That's right.
Thank you, Donald.
Bill Farmer.
Goofy. But
Just
this
says his
time,
name.
I have to go it alone.
Sora, listen. The power of waking isn't to go chase hearts around. Even if you do locate Kairi, you might never come home to us again.
I will. And we'll both be back before you know it.
Please.
Let him go, Mickey.
Riku.
His eyes are so
His
green.
heart and his mind are made up. Now believe in him.
Yeah. Safe journey, Sora.
Thank you.
You know, I think Haley Joel Osment, he's good as Sora. I think he's actually better as Vanitas.
You think? He seems to kind of go like... I think he's pretty good as Vanitas. He seems to have like a lot more fun with it because he kind of goes all hammy.
I think it's just maybe the way Vanitas is written is
Yeah.
just... There's more to work with that doesn't sound really cheese-tastic, I guess.
Yeah. Like Sora's a goody two-shoes
Yeah.
and all.
So?
Yeah. It wards off darkness. It's useful.
Told ya. So, how'd it go? The tour.
I learned the reason for my existence.
Oh! Tell me more.
All around the world, people live seemingly peaceful lives. They believe themselves to be moral and virtuous, but it's all an act. Darkness lurks in the pit of everyone's heart. Their light is a total farce.
Sounds like your trip around the world opened your eyes, but you got a little bit more than you anticipated. You must have seen a lot of darkness.
Those who are weak and who desire greater power simply strip the strong of their power and convince themselves they've earned it. That's how people become tainted by darkness.
Is he describing the radical left?
They believe what they want to believe, using hollow reasons as justification.
Bernie Sanders taken over by the darkness.
They repeat this cycle, and their darkness grows.
So you're saying the weak feel the need to justify their actions to maintain a sense of self. Can't let that slide?
No. It's better they be ruled by darkness. People carry delusions of having power, but it's a lie. They are but sheep pretending to be wolves. Though I admit, I can understand why.
Oh, I've never heard that one before. A Keyblade wielder willing to side with the darkness? Why not just let them be until the darkness consumes them?
Because left alone, the world would fall to chaos. There needs to be order.
You sure about that? Why not just sit back and watch it play out?
Understanding hearts is difficult. More so the emotions within. I simply realize that it's easy to dismiss what you don't comprehend.
All right, all right. The world needs you. I'll grant you that one.
I don't know what I can do, but I will act. What comes next is too important.
I suppose letting false light dictate the future might be a pretty lousy move. So, you can make a change. You have that power. What do you want for the world?
Power, eh? Who knows? My training's coming to an end, and the exam's not far off. Maybe I can gain some clarity then.
You're letting the exam decide? Listen to me. The results don't matter. You believe the world needs you. Sounds like you already know where you're headed.
It's funny.
His eyes are not yellow, I just noticed.
Somehow,
This is like actual young Xehanort.
And what I'm supposed to do. Yes. Even this coat. There's something familiar about it. As if I'm meant to wear this.
No. You'll ditch it soon.
What do you mean?
I mean that one day you're going to outgrow it.
How so?
If you truly possess great power, the darkness can't control you. You won't need a silly old coat to stay safe. In fact, you'll be the one controlling the darkness instead. Me, on the other hand, I'm too much of a scaredy cat to ever take mine off.
Who are you really? Some kind of fortune teller?
I'm Tetsuya Nomura.
Well, I could lie and tell you that's what I am when I'm actually a brilliant artist, or even a scholar. I could tell you that I dream of world peace when I'm actually planning for its destruction. The truth is what you see with your eyes, not what you hear.
So, your name?
What did I just... Never mind. I guess there's no harm. My name is... I'm a lost master.
Lost master?
May your heart be your guiding key.
So we're about to get the lovely Christopher Lloyd.
What's so funny, old man? Mind sharing with us?
Also, this track sounds different.
It's new.
Yeah.
It's a new arrangement.
I stand here today because of a fated encounter. Very many years ago, when I was still a young lad. I never learned who he was, and perhaps I never will. But I see now the truth he spoke of.
We don't have time for bedtime stories. Without the kid, we're still down a 13th vessel. And as for the other 12, only 3 of us are here right now.
So this is shortly
Are
after
you absolutely sure
Dream Drop
the others
Distance.
made their way back to their respective times?
Yeah, that voice is definitely extremely different.
Yeah. I didn't notice it at first, though.
Marluxia and Larxene are both here in this time, attempting to locate the new 7 hearts. Luxord is also somewhere about in this age, but after our last meeting, he went in search of something per your order.
Good old Kirk Thornton is
Isn't that
psychics.
so?
Huh. Oh, that. Right. Well, let's just say that what he's doing will benefit us in the long run. But it's really of no importance right this second. Go on.
Playing your cards close as usual. All right. The hearts of Ansem, Xemnas, Vanitas, Riku Replica, and young Xehanort returned to where they came from and reassembled once more. Each of them is seeking a guardian of light.
So, the ones who turned human, and then back again into nobodies are me, you...
I feel like this should have played at the beginning of Kingdom Hearts 3.
Marluxia,
Oh, yeah.
Larxene, that's 5.
Yeah.
The ones from
I mean,
the past
most
transferred
people
into
had already figured all
replicas
this
are
out.
Ansem, Xemnas, Vanitas, Riku
It's just,
Replica,
they kind
and
of,
the old man's
I
younger
guess, jog
self.
everyone's memory.
Then
Yeah,
we
I think
add
it would have
the
just
old
been a
man,
more
and
cohesive
the
package.
total comes up
Yeah.
to 11.
How about we
think
bring
we're
back
still
that girl
missing
that
two.
nobody knows about?
Well,
Now we
they
must
do kind of
discuss.
explain that.
Yeah.
Why we have assembled here today. My incarnations from past times, vessels into which I transferred my heart, my essence, were destroyed. Thus I was restored to what you see now. For one to completely disappear, their heart and body must be restored to their original form. That is one reason why I distributed my heart into several vessels. Ansem and Xemnas originated from Terra, or rather his young form, and it too was restored. However, my heart has returned to me, while his is yet lost. I decided to fill this hollow vessel with my heart. Indeed, the very same heart that previously resided within young Terra.
So that makes 12. Then, who do we get to replace the kid?
20 replicas were created by Vexen. The first 12 were nothing more than puppets, barely human. The prototype model was the Riku replica, and then number I was made. That leaves us with 6. Ansem, Xemnas, Vanitas, Riku replica, and young Xehanort's hearts. 5 vessels, 1 left. Vexen and Demyx are candidates, but backups at best. The plan for the last replica is to give it a heart that is connected to Sora's.
Connected to Sora? Anyone in mind?
The second prototype that was created, number I. Though erased from memory, it remained in Vexen's records. Its existence is greatly linked to Sora's memories. and thus should prove to be more than adequate for our needs.
Number I. An imaginary number. How fitting.
While young Xehanort is occupied with transferring hearts, I must go fulfill my duty. I will go and retrieve Vexen.
Reliable as always. It sounds to me like you've got everything dependably under control. Well, I'm off to do my part.
The plan, as we agreed upon.
May your heart be your guiding key.
Still more cutscenes. Yeah, they really pack it full right at the beginning here.
Huh? This is... Oh. Chirithy!
Back so soon? What's wrong?
Well...
Oh. Even with the power of waking, you can't just bring someone back.
But Kairi's heart hasn't been lost yet. She's still with us, right?
Maybe, but this time, I'm afraid the situation is a lot worse.
Hey, I've already restored 6 hearts. What's one more?
But that's not how it's supposed to work at all. The power of waking is meant to be used to wake and restore sleeping hearts, not to restore them after they've completely faded away from existence. You've done that 6 times before, and as a result, you've managed to greatly alter the course of history itself. You've broken a nature taboo.
Nature...
A forbidden act. Break a taboo of nature, and you'll end up paying an extraordinary price.
Oh. I've heard that before. So, what's the price?
You'll lose your powers. You won't be able to use the power of waking.
That's all? No problem.
But that's not all. You yourself will vanish from this world. And without your powers, you can't return to the world you came from.
I don't care.
What?
There's a lot I don't understand. But I know that this is all I can do right now. I have to do everything I can to get Kairi back. That's the whole reason behind my journey.
I can't stop you, can I?
Nope. I have to follow my heart.
Well, then this really is goodbye. So listen carefully to me. You'll return to the past again, but you won't be able to rewrite it this time. No matter what happens, you have to accept it and move on.
Alright, make sure you have all your equipment and stuff. Yeah, all that.
I have a lot of AP to play around with.
Yeah. There's a bunch of extenders. Form change extenders, good. Grand Magic, yeah. and form change. The one below that.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
didn't see that. Link. I don't really use.
You could, but that's just for like stuff like aerial and all that stuff.
Yeah, I don't really.
Treasure magnet.
Treasure magnet.
Maybe. Why not?
If I use master, do I have to use the others at all? Because it automatically draws in no matter how far away they are.
Well, I guess not. Yeah.
So I can.
You can unequip those.
All right. Then I guess I just have like a. Well, combo boost would be kind of cool, but nah.
That's all right.
All right, I think I'm good for now.
Yeah.
Let me customize real quick. Okay, just making sure.
Right. Okay.
Is everybody okay?
No subtitles?
You'll see why.
The heart you have now,
Okay.
it already existed during that time. It went back into that past earlier. Nothing can change that fact. The place where you'll return is the tear in the fabric of time that was created when you changed your destiny, then changed it once again.
We found you!
In order to not stray too far from the true power of waking, you'll enter and pass through the hearts of the Guardians until you reach Kairi's heart. Every emotion that each of the Guardians felt, sadness, anxiety,
I know that you're not him.
fear, kindness,
Now let our friend
everything
go.
they saw, and everything that they felt then, you'll clear a way through it, traverse across their hearts, and dive ever deeper inside. I can't be sure what's waiting for you at the end, or what you'll actually be able to do. But by following the connection of hearts, you'll come to discover a greater truth. One that's sure to help you.
You will be torn heart from body.
But in this flow of time in the past, you'll only have up until the moment you left for this place. So you'll have to find and restore Kairi's heart before then. That's all the advice I can give you. Beyond that, I can only say, be your guiding key.
That was some Kingdom Hearts 1 imagery.
Yeah. They do some
some callbacks.
Some callbacks.
Is
yeah.
Ven's heart.
So that was definitely a Kingdom Hearts 1 thing there.
Except it was Ventus instead of Kairi.
Right.
Ven! Ven! What? Who are you? Darkness? Vanitas?
So people are thinking that's a character from Union Cross.
Brain?
No. A character that we don't know who it is. They just call themselves Darkness. People are thinking it's Vanitas. We don't know who it is. Hey, you just fought this guy.
I gotta do it again?
So it's a weaker version.
Oh, okay. They just wanted to make sure.
And he's a slightly different color.
They wanted to make sure you didn't miss it, I guess.
I guess.
Snowing outside. It's like snowing. It's like a freaking blizzard. It's snowing so hard I can barely see out the window. It was even worse a minute ago. This is awesome. It's like coming in through the window. This is great. I'm so happy. I love snow. Oh, this is great. This is fantastic. I hope it does this a bunch more times. It's only like January 6th. Oh, this is so good. This is so intense. Like, I don't even want to go outside with my camera in this, it's so intense. Going for a hike in the snow. It snowed a few days ago really hard. It was like so thick outside my window I couldn't see. And a few days later and it's like still here. It's like all over the ground. So we are going up the hiking trail. This is the same mountain as the first episode and the 1-year anniversary episode of this series. It's just covered in snow now. Oh, okay.
Stop there.
Bobby almost tripped. Okay.
Are you recording or taking a picture?
Hey!
Only so strong you can be. You can only be so strong. That was kind of the end of the recording.
I remember I had some
gonna do that sandwich?
I'm recording right now. I was gonna eat the sandwich gratefully. Gonna eat the sandwich with a smile on my face and a song in my heart. That's what I said I was gonna do.
What is that big white thing? That's not the lake, is it?
Yeah. That's the lake.
Is it?
Yep.
Yeah. Wow.
We've done this so many times. It's like being on the moon.
Huh?
It's like being on the moon.
The flag there.
Alright.
It's cold.
Yeah. Alright. We took a... I wanted to take a hike. I don't think I've ever hiked this trail in... I don't think I've ever hiked this trail in the snow. So this was meant to be a... Really, starting out it was just going to be like footage of a snowy hike for Jamison. Here's a snowy hike that you might have liked, kind of thing, Jamison. But now we're gonna talk. There's no way to. We all have to be in the frame, so there's no way for this not to be three guys standing like this. But
yeah.
This is how it's gonna be. But anyway, so I'll tell you a long story. We came up here yesterday, and we didn't make it very far up because at some point I realized my bracelet was not on my wrist anymore. And so while there was still light, I wanted to go back down and see if I could find it. So I was like looking all over the ground and stuff, hoping to see it. And I was just telling Bobby as we were looking that I felt like I didn't know that I had much reason to continue wearing it for the significance it has to me. And as I was literally saying that, like getting sentences out of my mouth to that effect, I saw it wrapped around a sign. A sign. So I've talked in this series before about how like I have had trouble saying with certainty, like, yes, I have faith that there is a God, I believe in God, and like obviously God doesn't materialize in like physical form and say, hey, I'm here. So a lot of people think he speaks to people in ways that they can recognize as being God speaking to them. Would you say that's something that you think, or?
I think that's kind of all we have to go on.
Yeah. Okay, that's all we have to go on. And so the way my brain works, like I like to pick apart stories and stuff, and I like to draw little like lines of meaning and connection where they're probably it's probably just a coincidence. But I recognize a lot of coincidences, and I've often thought to myself, like, if God were I really do think the stuff I notice is just coincidence. But God, knowing everyone, knowing who they are and how they think, if God were gonna like find a way to speak to you in a way that you would know, I've thought sometimes, like, I wonder if God, knowing that I have had these very thoughts that I'm saying now, would speak to me by way of these coincidences. So things that are really just coincidences actually do become paradoxically more than coincidence, because God is intentionally using them knowing that I notice them. Does that make any sense? And obviously I'm not going to sit here and prove that in this video, but I've just thought about that, and so it was just kind of funny to me that my bracelet was wrapped around a sign. So I guess I've like never actually told you why I wear this. I told you, Bobby?
A little bit.
Okay. Long story short, I was living in Seattle and a bunch of bad stuff happened very suddenly all at once. Two of my best friends moved away. I became suddenly very alone in Seattle. One of my best friends moved to Russia. Another one of my best friends moved over the mountains to a place where she had no cell phone reception. My car broke down like forever through no fault of my own. There was like a freak accident thing in the engine. And so I like suddenly lost the ability to like go around and visit, like go see these people or like be in contact with them. And just like a bunch of bad stuff at once. And then I spent a year not having a great time. And I don't want to go too much into that. So the friend of mine who moved over the mountains, the friend of mine who moved over there said that if she didn't come back before, like, I didn't know when I was going to see her next, but she's like, if I don't come back before then, I'm definitely coming back in the spring for this anime convention, SakuraCon in Seattle. So when SakuraCon came around, at this point, like, I knew I was going to Korea, and it was just a matter of time till I left Seattle, and I didn't want to, like, forever lose contact with this person. So I signed up and went to SakuraCon. I couldn't get in contact with her. I couldn't call her. She doesn't use Facebook, doesn't use email, any of that. So, like, it was literally like, if I go to Korea, then it's this friend of mine probably drops off the face of the earth, and we, like, don't know how to get in touch with each other anymore. I went to SakuraCon to try and find her. I made this bracelet as part of my costume. I was dressing up as a character, Kyo from Fruits Basket, who wears this. And went to the convention, and I went to the registration day, and I registered, and then I stayed in there and watched everyone come in and leave, and then people were already in their costumes and stuff, and I was just sitting there by the entrance, just hanging out, just watching everyone as they came in, hoping that I would see her. And I didn't see her, but I was like, okay, that's okay, no big deal. There's the whole convention left. This is just the day before when everyone's signing up. So the first day of the convention, I went there. I'd been to conventions before with friends and stuff when I was younger and more into anime, and my life wasn't in such a bad spot. So I went to this convention by myself with the sole purpose of finding my friend so that they wouldn't slip into the void and I would never hear from him again. And I went by myself, and I spent the whole day I wasn't doing fun anime stuff. I was going around looking through crowds, going up escalators so I could get a better view of the hundreds of people in this giant Seattle convention center, looking everywhere for her. And the whole time I was seeing all these young people. At this point I'm 27, and I was seeing all these 19, 20, 21-year-olds together with friends, going around just enjoying themselves, and I felt really out of place. This isn't for me anymore. I'm not supposed to be here. And so I was kind of sad, and it was already at the tail end of just a year of being really miserable and feeling alone and stuff. And looked all over for her, couldn't find her, hours and hours and hours and hours. Finally, it was late at night, and I was so defeated. I was I'm probably never gonna see my friend again, and I went home. And just went home, and I was just devastated. And the next day I woke up, and I was so sad. I wasn't even gonna go back. I'd paid for a full weekend, but I wasn't even gonna go back. And I was just lying in bed feeling sad about life, and then I thought, well, I can be sad in bed here, or I can go there and at least see people's costumes and stuff. So I went again, and I went around, and I was looking, and I still couldn't find my friend, but I was just kind of more chill and just enjoying not being in my bed. And I was just kind of open to just the pleasantness of doing something versus doing nothing. And so finally it was late at night, and I kind of made peace with it. So I was I'm just gonna go home now because I have to work tomorrow morning. I leave the convention center, and the whole time at the convention center I'm taking pictures of people's costumes. I see someone dressed up as Vegeta or Luffy or something, and I'm like, hey, cool costume, can I take a photo? So I'm taking photos the whole time, and I leave to go to the bus, and then I realize I don't have a photo of me in costume. And I don't want to just take one a mirror selfie in my apartment. So I go back into the convention center thinking I'll ask someone to take my photo, and I don't want to ask a random person, please take my photo for me, because that just seems kind of stop a stranger and be take my photo. So I thought I would just wander around until I see someone whose costume I genuinely like enough to ask for a photo, and then I'll ask them to also take mine. So I'm wandering around, and I see my friend, and we see each other from across this big open room, and we kind of see each other at the same time. And she was like, is that Jordan? And so it was movie scene, we ran at each other. It was the world around us disappears, and we just ran. We hadn't seen each other in months, and we ran at each other and hugged each other, and then we just talked for hours and hours, and we hung out, and I got I'm in touch with this person now. I pulled this friendship kind of back from the brink of just dropping off into the ether, which is something I've done a lot in my life. People who, Facebook is common now, and everyone is, you know your real name of the person you're talking to on Facebook and stuff, but kind of the early days of the internet, message boards and stuff when I was a teenager, we all used screen names, and I was kind of quiet, and I didn't talk to a lot of kids in school, so a lot of my friends were on the internet, and I knew them by their screen names, but not real names. And it's like I'm still 14 or whatever, so I'm not allowed to tell people my personal information. And so there'd be people who would just suddenly disappear from the message boards that we're talking on. And I have like, still to this day, like some of my best friends are people I met on the internet when I was like a teenager. But there have been people like that in my life that I still talk to, that a few times they disappeared and would have just drifted away, but I searched their names and I hunted them down, and I found a forum where like they posted here a year ago, but I don't know if they're still even looking at it. And I would register an account on the forum just to send their account on that forum a private message and be like, hey, it's me, do you remember me? If you see this, please send me an email so we can be in touch, because I don't want to lose touch with you. And it worked. And like I've dragged people back into my life that way. It's kind of like I don't like the idea of like a movie goes out of print and is never re-released, and I always wonder what that movie was and don't have access to it anymore.
Yeah.
I don't want to like ever lose access to people that have been in my life that I've cared about. Like, sometimes it's just gonna happen, but like I've considered myself like a hoarder of memories and experiences, and a hoarder of people in some ways. And that really awful year in Seattle, I felt a lot of like giving up, this is pointless type feelings. And when I like bent over backwards to go on this like fairy tale quest to find my friend in a sea of hundreds of people, and succeeded when it seemed like I wouldn't, kind of reaffirmed to me like it's always worth it to care enough to do that instead of just letting stuff go. And that was like, when I just like say the words, I guess it sounds kind of trite, but that was like so profound and significant to me in that moment. And that was like almost 6 years ago now. But this bracelet was part of a costume, but I just kept wearing it after that because it just made me happy to look at it, and it just made me think of all the things that I thought after having that experience. Everybody with me?
Yep.
Okay, like, I know that was like a lot. That was just rapid fire. And anyway, that was then, and then I've worn it all this time, and it just makes me happy to look at it and remember that. But kind of more recently, I have felt like that was like me going up a hill and reaching the top and being like, look at the beautiful view. Speaking of which, look at this.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's pretty.
Yeah.
Move aside a little bit so that the camera can see the background. Yeah.
So like, yeah, metaphorically, that was me ascending to the top of this, like, I climbed up through unhappiness and insecurity and misery and loneliness and blah 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 to the top, and it was like a new way of looking at life and at relationships and people and stuff. And now, more recently, I feel like I have gone back down the other side, and I don't know that I think that anymore. I don't know. I've kind of taken a liking to the idea of cutting out the fat, cutting out dead weight, people who I don't feel add anything, and who I feel just like add bloat and make me actually feel more alone. And so basically, yeah, I don't know that I think that way at all anymore. And so I wonder how this is gonna come out. It's so dark. I don't know that I feel that way at all anymore. And so when I lost my bracelet, for a while I've been thinking like, I don't even know if I should keep wearing this, because I don't want to wear it just because I've always worn it. And it's like, if I think different things now. And then I lost it, and I was telling Bobby that like, I don't even know if my reasons for wearing it are still there, like if it's even still worth it. And like literally as I'm saying that, we come up to it and I see it wrapped around the sign. And that was kind of weird. And so, I was telling you this earlier, I have a tendency to imbue things with meaning that there's no actual physical, like a scientist can like look at this under a microscope and see there's meaning. But I have a tendency to like, I say this gesture has some kind of meaning, and thus it has meaning. Like the act of saying it's meaningful is what makes it meaningful. And and but I don't know, like, is that just a way to I'm thinking about like the thing a year, it's like right around a year ago, a year and some change, we were up on the roof of that cafe, and I was talking about the amiibos and like gestures and the idea of rituals and gestures. And I got Smash Brothers Jamison, he played Fox, I play Falco, and so like I bought the Fox amiibo not because I literally think Jamison's spirit can possess the amiibo, but it's just kind of like a gesture where, like, if you could see this, I'm doing this for you, for your memory, to remember and appreciate and treasure the memories we have of like playing Smash Brothers when you would always be Fox. And so I was talking about that gesture, and I think I said up on the roof, like, this doesn't necessarily have any meaning, but it is a gesture. And so I don't know where I'm headed with this. Like, do you think, what do you think about, like, do you think that stuff is just to make people feel better?
No. Like to make yourself feel better?
Do you think, like, what is meaning and what gives something meaning is what I'm trying to, is that stuff just to make us feel fuzzier until we die?
No, I don't think so. This is kind of the subject of like religious experience as just a broad category is the feeling of the material universe sort of reflecting our consciousness in some way. Like, you had, at the convention, you had this idea of like wanting to go out and make something kind of extraordinary happen. Like the thought that you might find your friend in that scenario was pretty unlikely. And I'm sure you had this kind of sense of like the magnitude of what you were trying to do. And it was like, in finding her, the universe kind of redeemed your hope. Like, it kind of said, like, your vision of what life could be, I'm going to put my stamp of approval on it. And like, sometimes things will happen and we sense that something is kind of like reaching out to us and speaking to us in a certain way.
Yeah.
And like, there's no way, like, you can't empirically prove that, but that is the experience that has driven like, people through life for just since humanity could recognize these kinds of things. And like, of course, some people just imagine that we are shaping, like, we're projecting shape onto a kind of uncaring material reality. But I think once you experience, like, when you experience it, you just have to, like, you have to make your own decision. It certainly doesn't feel that way. It certainly feels like something more.
Yeah, I guess it's just kind of like symbols and rituals just kind of have like a sentimental value, but like it's also a way of just kind of like remembering something. I guess we want to keep those things in our minds. We don't want to forget them. So we do stuff that maybe doesn't seem important but is related.
Yeah, I mean, even if like it was just sentimental fluff, like if there was no meaning to it but it was just to make me feel better, I feel like that wouldn't even be a problem. Like, if there's no meaning to it, then there's no meaning in being earnest and not putting up a pretense of meaning, if that makes sense. I don't know if that actually does make sense. Like,
well, no, it's like it's a cynical argument, but it makes sense. It's like Pascal's wager. Like, if it helps you get through life, and at the end it turns out untrue, but you lived a better life because you believed something that wasn't true, like what have you lost? So I think that it bears out like that, but I don't know. I don't think I would be able to believe something just because I thought it was gonna make... I don't think I could believe a lie just because I thought it might make life more enjoyable or bearable.
Yeah. When I talked about the gestures, like, I don't know, I'm not really, like, I don't know what the aim is. There's no really end goal. It's just like, I'm doing it it's just I'm doing it. Like, that's just kind of where it stops. Like, if Jamison can, I have no idea if he can somehow see, but if he can, then here, that's this whole series. Like, I don't know if he can somehow see, but if he can, then here you go. Like the signpost, my bracelet, I'm really happy that, like, my first experience with the thing everyone always told me Koreans would do when you lose something, my first time actually experiencing that was with, like, something that's been so important to me. But, like, seeing it wrapped around a sign and just all the stuff I talked about, like, if God communicates to you in ways that it's like an inside joke between just you and God, he will know that you will know it in a way that no one else would recognize it. I don't even know if I believe that is what happened or that's what the case. It's like I guess this just kind of characterizes my entire stance with religious stuff with God. Like, I am afraid to, like, I don't feel like I have enough information to have much of a leg to stand on saying I am confident about this being the case. And that just spreads to all these little things I'm talking about here. And I'm just... So yeah, I wasn't saying, like, I wasn't putting this out there like, hey guys, what do you think? Do you think this is it? Like, maybe, huh? Do you think this is it? I'm more just, like, talking about how... Jamison was very, very clinical, cut and dry. Like, at whatever point when he was a teenager, when he was 12, 13, whatever, when, like, Jamison stopped believing in God, right around then, ever since then and into his adulthood even, he was very clinical and just, like, stark about not thinking anything has meaning, and just, like, this is just kind of, like, everything that happens in the world is just, like, natural what happens, and, like, so-and-so thinks and is a certain way, and his brain is probably wired such that he will just always be that way and can never break out of it. And it was this really kind of depressing view of the world, but he didn't even really see it as depressing, or he didn't talk about it being depressing. He just talked about it as if he were a doctor just telling you what it is. Does that make any sense?
Yeah. Just like the kind of guy who has to see something to believe it.
Well, I think, like, especially when you talk about the clinical way he would describe it, that's how you have to approach it. Because when you really think about it, if there's nothing else, it is so horrible that you have to try to emotionally detach. Like, just the roiling ocean of humanity just eating itself and dying and committing all these horrendous acts, and if it's all meaningless, it's a horror show. And so you have to just treat it like a doctor.
Yeah. And I'm not here to say he was wrong or anything. Like, that's not, I feel like we were talking about some stuff earlier, and it made me think, like, I wonder what I have done, what I may have said, where it's like, now that Jamison's not here to present his own case on why he did certain things a certain way, I'm saying, like, saying if only he had seen things my way, he'd still be, like, I don't ever want to come across that way. Like, I've criticized him and, like, expressed anger at him, like, doing drugs and stuff, but anyway, I'm getting off track. What I'm saying is that I'm not trying to, like, sit here and say, like, Jamison was wrong, this is his fatal flaw, or, you know, like, I don't know.
It's all just trying to understand.
Yeah. It's really cold.
Yeah, we need to go. We're gonna be pretty fucked soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you want to say before we go down? This break, I don't even know if it's so dark.
Probably can't even pick it up.
Well, okay.
We just look like we're
just a couple of silhouettes.
You can trust that maybe I'll put what we're saying over some actual footage if this is too dark. You can trust that my bracelet that you've seen before is the one I'm talking about now, but when I made the bracelet in Seattle, I didn't have a lot of money left. I bought some beads from Hobby Lobby and some string, but there weren't enough beads to go all the way around the string, so it was like an incomplete bracelet, where just like some bare string around part of my wrist. And I made do with that, but before I went to Korea, I went to a Hobby Lobby in Tennessee and bought more beads. So this bracelet is made of beads from Seattle and Clarksville. And the string I've since replaced with something I bought in Korea. So this bracelet is made up of beads from Seattle and Clarksville and a string from Korea. So it's made out of things from all the places I've lived and spent significant times in my life and like forged connections with people. And it was always special to me for that reason too. Like back when I was feeling more fuzzy and happy and warm about my friends and how it's always been worth it and it's worth it to keep going. And I always thought about that. It just like it was a reminder of all the places I've been and the people I've met that I'm grateful that I met. I was gonna try and figure out whether I wanted to restring this bracelet so it doesn't fall off again up here on this mountain, but it's too dark, you can't see, and it's getting cold and we gotta go down, so I'll do this later in a warm room with some artificial light that I'll have to color correct the hell out of to make it look halfway decent.
Woo! Let's get going.
Thanks for watching, Happy New Year's!
Those are freezing. It's gonna be hard to get down. It's gonna be dark.
Yeah.
It's gonna be real dark.
We have to use our phones.
Approach it with humility, and you seem to have an aversion to using artifice. Is that deer? No, it's just...
Yeah, that's a bird.
This is the kind of thing I would never think of when I was younger. Fucking jamboree of cliches.
Here we are at the lake again. We did this at the end of last summer. This last time we were with Michael and not with Tanner. We poured out some root beer for Tanner. And this time we're with Tanner and not with Michael.
We don't have any root beer to pour out for Michael though.
We do not have root beer this time. I forgot to get it last time I was in.
What can we pour out for Michael?
So a while back I was talking about how I didn't know if I should keep wearing my bracelet because I don't know if I believe in the stuff that I felt back then. And then I started thinking about my grandmother and always wanting her family to be together, and at the family gathering she would just happily watch them all talk to each other, and that was what made her happy, was just seeing brothers talk to each other. And the idea of community, and I think some of the problems that led to what happened with Jamison and some other stuff might have been due to lack of community. Oh, you gotta turn this to loosen it.
Oh,
sorry.
I could have.
They can't see what you're doing with your hands.
Yeah. Okay. I was gonna hold him up for the important stuff. That's okay.
All right. Fine, no. Can we get them all?
Unless someone's all on the ground down there.
I think it might be on. Yeah, okay. Guess we'll find out. Anyway, so it's gonna be a little different from how I thought about it before. I was very happy woohoo friendship back then, and I don't think a lot of people put in the same effort. Thank you.
Yeah.
But I've decided that I believe in community even if other people are disappointing. And I think it's important. And I think my grandmother is better than people who don't call you back and bail on plans.
Hold them all, Tanner.
You turn this into a team effort.
I know. That's what it should be. You might be sitting here thinking the stuff this man is saying is not worth listening to if he can't hold on to beads.
And you'd be right.
Bobby, leave the video.
Into the wilderness with you.
I wish Michael were here. This would feel more complete with him.
It is what it must be.
Yeah. This right here is like the sum total of people that I like in Korea. No, I'm just kidding. No, there's a lot of decent people here.
So you know they made a double fish fillet sandwich at McDonald's now.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I might skip on Subway for that thing.
Oh really? Man, I haven't had a fish fillet since I was man, so that was like maybe in high school.
They don't come out here much.
Thank you, Tanner.
Except for my absence last time.
Jordan, please don't drop it.
Don't drop it. Is that all of them?
I think so. Hold on. I want to hold this very carefully.
Did you not memorize the number of
I was thinking
beads?
you'd memorize them. Because you wear all the time.
Each one has its own name.
The little scuff mark on the left side.
This might be just like an excuse because I just like wearing it and I just want to keep wearing it, but I don't know, like that was a really, this is going to be in the same video as the story I told on the mountaintop about why I like kept wearing it, and that was like really, that felt very big and like necessary at that point in my life, and I don't just want to be like never mind because I feel disillusioned. So I thought about community, like throughout this series I've kind of had other little bits where I talk about that kind of stuff, and I talk about the statue of the girl in the park and just like how much of a togetherness the Korean people still feel, and how I think communities kind of have to make a point of policing what is allowed in and out of them, and like actually discouraging and cracking down on behavior that hurts the people within it. Drugs destroy communities. Degeneracy destroys communities. That got him for me this time. There's a photo, I can't show it, but there's a photo that makes me really uncomfortable of my brother at the golf course, the Swan Lake Golf Course in Clarksville, Tennessee, and I told you about this the other day. He's with 3 other people, at least one of whom is now also dead, like died the same year Jamison did, like a couple months before he did, and another guy who did not die from drugs, but drugs made him so that he can never live on his own. He always has to be taken care of. And one other guy, I don't know anything about him. And it's just weird that all 4 of them were together at the golf course, because Jamison said it was when he worked at that golf course that he first started shooting up. As I've talked about in another video, he found the case of insulin and started using that needle to shoot up, and that was his first time. So drugs destroy communities. And so I'm kind of an organizer of people getting together, I think. And I think there is value in that. It's not going in, but I don't know, that's my, yeah.
Oh, to be a child and not realize how loud it was.
Oh, to be a child and derive that much joy from just making sounds.
Oh, it fits better now.
Just breaks shatters.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. No, if that happened, you'd have to keep that in the video.
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
Just shatters and beats go everywhere.
Are you kidding? That would become like a life-defining moment.
I mean, I would certainly have to interpret that. If I'm gonna like interpret this being wrapped around a sign as something worth paying attention to and thinking about, then me having a ritual to put it back together with friends aiding me in the process and then it immediately snapping would have to tell me something.
It'd be hard to walk away from that.
Yeah, be like, oh, never mind, I'm just not uploading this one.
I'm not uploading this, and I'm gonna go think for a long time in a very quiet place.
I just need to be by myself now. Screw all that community togetherness stuff.
By myself now and possibly for the rest of my life.
Yeah. If you're one of the people I deleted and you're watching this, and that's not the case, but if you are, I hope it feels bad. You should be better. You should be less disappointing. Like, you're gonna die someday. Alright, that's it.
That's that.
Fuck you, friend failures.
This isn't gonna work. It's too dark. I'm gonna have to point it the other way. I'm up here at the wrong time of day. Oh, okay. Two hikes and one video on 2 different days, months apart. Today is April 19th, 2021. Tomorrow is the 2-year anniversary of this series. So I guess every year on the anniversary I'm gonna come up this mountain. I can't stand in the usual spot this time because it's way too bright. So if I point it down this way, I can't see and the sun just destroys my eyes. If I point it out the way I want to, the sun is on the way to set over there and can't see me. You can see everything else, but I'm in shadow. So I don't want to take too long on this one because this video is going to be pretty long as it is, but talked about my bracelet and stuff. Remade it with friends helping me for a while off and on. In the last one of these anniversary, like series anniversary videos 1 year ago, it was episode 37, I came up here and I complained for a while. It was raining, it was cold, I was shivering, and I was trying to record and people kept walking by playing music on their phones and talking really loud and stopping to take selfies and laughing, and it was just frustrating. And I complained a lot. I went up there without much of a plan, and then I just talked. I kind of reflected on a year of making videos, and yeah, I talked about how it felt like people didn't care, and it's a lot easier for someone to post something really shallow as a caption to a photo. Not that there's anything inherently wrong with just taking a photo and uploading it and enjoying yourself. I'm just saying comparatively, like you're not going to tell me that a photo you took of yourself about to watch TV for 3 hours is the same as me planning all this out and like researching and learning how to expose video and hiking up a freaking mountain. It's not the same thing, but anyway, but I realized that like a photo and like a brief little blurb you read while you're scrolling is easier to interact with. You just boop and there it is. Click like or say, cool, I want to watch that show too, or whatever, versus watching my long, very, very amateur quality video. But all this leading up to me saying for a while I was kind of thinking, I don't know if this series is worth it, especially since I've finished the base game. And there have been people who told me, who kind of suggested, I guess maybe gently, that I shouldn't do the DLC and that I should just stop making these. Because I mean, at this point, I've basically given my early 30s to Jamison. I mean, I'm gonna be 34 at the end of this year. I'm approaching mid-30s, and he died when I was 30, and anyway. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna keep making them. I didn't know if wearing the bracelet was still something I wanted to do or something I felt justified in doing given what I thought it meant. These videos, like, it's kind of hard to reach out to people and get them to actually agree to participate. Like his friends, it seems like they'd want to share something, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, no, I've decided it's worth it. I'm gonna do it. This is worth it. I've had people thank me before. I've had people be very surprised that I went to the trouble I did to reach out and pull them back into my life. This is worth it, making these videos until I finish my project and I know that I'm done, and I feel done, and I feel accomplished, and I'm proud, and I have completed it. That's worth it. It's all worth it. Everything is worth it. And on the subject of community, it's worth it to try and maintain communities, even if I feel like, and I guess this is maybe me being holier than thou, but I'm sorry, it is what it is. Like, even if I feel like other people aren't as good as I am at caring about it and maintaining it and putting in the slightest little bit of effort to text people and try to arrange something. So I guess I'm just gonna keep on being better in that regard. And yeah, it's even if other people let me down. I mean, even if Jamison let all of us down, let himself down. Yeah, it's all worthwhile. On the community, on the way here, I had a little bit of water. I had like a single water bottle in my bag. Thought that might be enough, but I wasn't sure, and I was like, yeah, I'll wing it. And so 7-Eleven, whenever I go hiking with friends in the early morning, we always stop at that 7-Eleven on our way up and grab water. And I was passing it, I was like, I don't need more water. And then I was like, oh, no, you know what, I like that. It's the same lady every single time who's always like working the register and sees us on our way to go hiking. And that familiarity, going to places where the people know me and the people are friendly to me, even if they don't know anything about you, they just recognize me. I like it, so I just went in. I just went in and got some water just in case. I just wanted that to be a part of the step for this particular video. So as I've said before, the summer after Jamison died, when I got back to Korea and I took my summer break, I spent a lot of time at home in my room. Didn't really know what to do, and I sat in my room and played. That's around the time that E3 2018 happened and Smash Brothers hype train started, and I got really into that. But also, I finally played. So I started playing Persona 5 that summer. Got like 3-4 hours in, and I was kind of bored by how slow it was moving. And I just quit. I thought, because I knew it was a long game, and I was like, I just don't want to get into this right now. I don't have the patience. It's a very story-driven game, and it takes its time building things up and introducing characters and letting you get to know their personalities and lots of dialogue. And I didn't want that. I didn't have the attention span for that. I didn't want to give my time to that. I just wanted to like sit down and play and just immediately be immersed and not have to do all this. Thing about Persona 5, the main character, that he has a canonical name, not in the game, but in like since the game has come out, the company has confirmed that he has a canonical like actual name, but you can name the character. But at the time I was playing, he didn't have that name yet, so I didn't know what to call him, so I named him Jamison. I just thought, Jamison can't do anything anymore. Jamison will never play another video game where he can name his character and then see the characters call that character his name throughout the game. Usually I name the character whatever their like actual name is, and if they don't have one, I'll name it Jordan, I guess, usually. But yeah, this time I named it Jamison, but I didn't get very far. And I said I turned to Nier Automata, which was more immediate. You just pick it up and play, and there's a story, and I like the story, but it's less heavy on character development and plot. And it's more just about the experience of seeing and feeling this world and moving through it. This world where human beings have long since died off or gone somewhere else or vanished, and you're these androids running through this ruined landscape. And that just felt more appropriate. I would sit there, play the game, and I would just get teary-eyed by myself, because as I was running through the ruins, I felt there's bugs everywhere. I felt like this is my life now. I'm now forever moving forward through a world that doesn't have Jamison in it. And the music that plays in those city ruins I've used in a few of these videos, most notably the very first one where I first hiked up here and explained what the series is about, and then the one year ago for the 1 year anniversary of the series. And that track is, it's sad and wistful. There's bits of hope. I should say there are bits of hope in it, but it's mostly melancholy and tragic, and it has this feeling of like, this is how things are now. And that's the music I used when I was coming up here. But, so this time around, the reason you were hearing Persona 5 music, that game that I didn't play back then, as I hiked up this time, is, I got around to playing that game finally. I played Persona 4 over the winter when I finally took my long break from this series, and then I played 5 Royal, so it's the better version. And I loved it, and it is really long. I played it for a long time, and I got my fill, and I'm good. But yeah, I finally got around to it. This time around, I named the character his canonical name, which is what I prefer to do. But the interesting thing, I'm not going to spoil it in case anyone wants to play, but there is a character in that game you get to know, and if you get to know them enough, you find out they had an older sibling who died, and so now, because that sibling can't live life anymore, their solution is to move forward through life in some ways as that sibling. Like, they are intentionally living life for that sibling because that sibling doesn't have life anymore and can't do it. They're achieving goals for themselves, but also for the sibling who no longer can, which is remarkably close to stuff I've talked about in previous videos, and I guess it gets me thinking this is a pretty popular line of thinking these days, because I'm obviously not the first person to have thought of it. We all osmose information from different sources, but yeah, it was weird to me that this character who has this going on, the cutscene in the game, is sitting there talking to the main character who, in a previous attempt at playing the game, I had named Jamison. It was just an odd little thing, but yeah, I feel better about stuff now. Wish I could stop clearing my throat, but my allergies have been driving me nuts. Air quality here's not good. Yeah, obviously I'm still sad. I'm always gonna be. Don't even really need to say that anymore, but I don't feel that same hopeless feeling. I feel like I've really evolved a lot in making videos, and I've discovered like a pretty intense like love and appreciation and interest in videography. I've like found something that I like doing, like a craft that I really like. The way Jamison always did, the way Jamison always got into stuff. I found something that I can work at and keep trying to get better at, and I see myself getting better, and it's really satisfying and fulfilling. And Jamison, I mean, maybe we're not the exact same kind of artist, and of course, and that's fine. I don't want to do hip hop music. I'm still working on guitar. That's really hard. It's coming along. I am going to be able to play something by the end of this series. It's coming along, but for right now, I don't have anything to show on that front. But yeah, I got something. I will create in Jamison's stead. I'll create stuff, and a lot of it will be for Jamison. If I can capture just the most beautiful, jaw-drop gorgeous footage I can for Jamison, as a gift to Jamison, I'll be happy, I'll be satisfied. And if I can do my part to cultivate and strengthen communities that take care of the people, maybe I can prevent more people from feeling like they have nowhere to go and turning to drugs and alcohol and other destructive behaviors. I mean, there's only so much any of us can do. I'm not responsible for saving other adults. At the end of the day, you can't save people. You can help them with practical things, but you can't like live their lives for them. I'm not responsible, but in some sense, I think we all actually are. I think we are all responsible for caring and doing what is reasonable. And I think maybe what's reasonable is a little bit more than most people are used to actually doing. Been learning how to cook too. Jamison dabbled in cooking, and I hate cooking, but I've been forcing myself to learn. Made my girlfriend some really good, authentic, like Vietnamese pho, and then yesterday I made some really like great chicken tikka masala Indian food, if I do say so myself. It was really good. That's one of my goals for this year, is just getting into cooking stuff I never thought I'd cook. Working on Korean again. I think I want to learn Spanish someday, like, cause Jamison was getting good at it, and I used to like be good at it for a beginner when I was in like high school and college, but Korean first because like I'm here and you know I kind of priority. But yeah, I think I want to learn Spanish someday. Yeah, I'm recording in the okay. I'm gonna wrap this up because this is gonna be really long. 2 years of making these. 2 years, wow. Keep making them. That's about all I got. Life's tough. Life keeps getting tougher in some ways, but yeah. But I'm just living, so I'll do stuff. It's worth it to do stuff. It's worth it to try, and worth it to try to live well. That's what I got. Love you, Jamison. 2 years. To anyone and everyone who has consistently been following these and watching and encouraging me and giving me not even positive feedback necessarily, but just anything to indicate that they care about what I'm doing. Yeah, thank you. That'll do it.